people do like to play will not be available. Kaisa going to be grabbed up as that first pick. I think Kaisa really does just work so well as an early pick. The champion is incredibly powerful, can fit into dive comps, can fit into front to back, can really play all play styles, and just so effective these days at that high level. Deftly had a very good game on it against 100 Thieves, and we'll see if we can have another one here today.
And the response from Immortals, they're saying, all right, you get Kaisa, we get Rell. Locking that one in first and foremost. I feel like this is such a common champion to draft first pick for either side. It just fits into so many different compositions, so many different situations. It just makes sense. And the other one they'll draft next to it, we get the horse and around duo. It's Hecarim right next to the Rell here, so we'll see what kind of plays Xerxe can make on that one here in this game. But Hecarim up against Mundo. We know how powerful this champion can be. I was talking with Kobe a little bit about it yesterday. His clear speed is incredible right now, and he is a very capable jungler.
He is really, really good. I think that he's pretty underrated overall. You do have a powerful clear. You have the ability to really just absorb so much damage in these team fights that if you can bait people into focusing you, move in and out of fights with your ultimate, with the move speed, with the additional regen that's coming through there, you can win a fight just clearly through the space you are creating for the rest of the team. It doesn't have to be about this powerful engage, just about zoning members of the opposing team away, because especially on 1-2 items in the earlier stages of the game, Mundo puts out a significant amount of damage. It's not something that champions like Azir can ignore. You must acknowledge that Mundo is a threat and try to peel back.
And the Azir and Alistar are third picks here for the first half, so we're into the second phase of the bans, and Jiizuke now becomes the target for Immortals. They're saying, all right, we've got to focus the solo lanes. We would rather focus Jiizuke than Impact. Impact kind of one of just those stable, sturdy rock of a player up there in the top lane. Always somebody that you can rely on to play what you need him to play. Even in previous interviews, he said, I just play the meta. I play what's good in League of Legends. I get done what I need to get done. With Jiizuke, on the other hand, he has these picks that he really shines on, so I understand the focus. Xayah's the ban from Evil Geniuses, recognizing that the draft is not even thus far. They still need to see the AD carry from their opponents, and they want to provide an easier life for the Kaisa and the Alistar here. Xayah having the ulti to get away when they try the all-ins. Makes sense to ban that one out. Syndra will be the next ban here from Immortals, again targeting Jiizuke.
Yeah, Raes getting targeted a little bit here, but he has played a pretty diverse set of champions. He only has 3 games on his most played the Kaisa. He's played Triss, Lucian, Aphelios, Seraphine, Xayah, Draven, Ezreal. So I don't think he's concerned about having a pick going in here, and will likely find out what he wants to play next, as generally speaking on red side, you're going to save that top lane counter pick for last, unless you're really looking to throw some sort of a curveball. This would be a curveball. We'll see if it does actually get locked in.
Mark. Okay.
Okay.
Somebody go check on Mark. We got to make sure he's okay.
I know. Mark was really negative on this, but I'm actually not. I tend to think Vayne is actually really good these days, and I think it's actually a smart pick into their composition. When you talk about Mundo, this mega tanky champion, when I play Mundo, you know what marksman I least like to see? Vayne.
Probably Vayne, yeah.
Shreds you. Percentage HP true damage as this person that's supposed to have thousands and thousands of HP, and that's, you know, your main source of durability. Vayne can instantly shred through that. It is incredibly difficult to deal with this champion, and we saw it picked by Johnson yesterday. Not yesterday, maybe it was yesterday. It didn't work out, but it was because of the interaction with the Alistar, where you can actually condemn the headbutt pulverize combo, and if you time that right, you can waste the combo from the Alistar, and then from there you can go aggressive, look to chase him down, look to get these incredibly powerful trades. Of course, you have to be careful about the CC. You are a mid-range carry there, but you have the Azir to create space, you have the Rell and the Hecarim who are going to be diving in, going forward, and hopefully that is creating opportunities for you to attack.
Yeah, having the Vayne up against a tanky target like the Mundo, when we saw the Vayne picked previously, there were no true traditional tanks that just want to build tank items on the enemy team. Yeah, there was Camille, yeah, there was Irelia, but those are bruisers. Bruisers are going to go in, they're going to dive, they're going to kill you first. Vayne being able to 6-auto practically any tank and take them out of the fight, if not outright kill them, incredibly powerful. So Gnar and Mundo must be respectful of that kind of damage as we move forward. And the final pick of the draft will be the Camille, here for revenge on Immortals to take against the Gnar.
My only concern here, you know, this can be a pretty powerful matchup into that Gnar. You can look for all-ins, try to abuse this Gnar when he goes into mini form. You know, call over your jungler, look for Hecarim to come in. You just ult him up on the Camille. He's locked in. He cannot kite you in mini Gnar. He will die if there is a jungler there. But my concern is that when you are playing with the Vayne, that demands attention, and now you have another side lane that is also demanding attention, and the split focus may be difficult for Xerxe to actually deal with. You've got to protect this Vayne early, you've got to allow the Camille to play aggressive early, and that is going to be a difficult situation for Xerxe to find himself in. On the other side, though, pretty standard stuff for EG. It feels like comfortable pick that can be played weak side for Impact. He can win that 1v1 potentially if it stays isolated. They have a big front line here with the Alistar and the Mundo. You have two incredibly powerful late game carries there with the Kaisa as well as the Orianna. The Orianna being picked after the Vayne is going to provide some complications for that Vayne because you have to always keep your eye on the ball. And Orianna can zone you out of some of these fights by just placing the ball in between you and those tanks you are looking to DPS.
We're into the Rift. Let's see how it goes here for game number 4. EG, one of the multitude of teams that came into today tied at second. We had half the league tied at second place, Azael, going into our games today. EG was one of them. Immortals below that line. So everybody that's below that line is a couple of games away, and that means they've got a lot of work to do here today, tomorrow, and next week, because after that, we're into the playoffs. Top 6, you're good to go. Anything below that is your cutoff, and you just have to watch from the sidelines. So Evil Geniuses want to make sure they end out this regular play strong before we get to that qualifier tournament for MSI. They looked good back in the lock-in tournament. They've had some shaky moments, and I'm sure their fans want to see them in a position of strength moving towards bracket play, moving towards best of fives, because this squad does have a lot of potential.
They do. At their best, they can look really, really strong. We're going to see how they can show up here today. Also interesting to note that Raes did go for PTA as well as cut down, so really kind of, again, focusing not only his champion, but his runes towards the team fight stage, towards taking down those tanks. You do see more Hail of Blades these days than you used to in the past, and that can be fairly effective as far as giving you some earlier power in that laning phase for those quick trades, 3 quick autos, proc the silver bolts. But this is going to be more value in the team fights and going to make the job of Mundo, Gnar, and potentially Alistar here even harder.
Oh, yes, sir. All right, let's see what's going on here in the jungle, as both of our junglers have started on the bottom side this time around. Both are also going for the full clear as Svenskeren heads down to the Krugs. We know that Mundo is one of those champions that can drop pretty low on HP on his first clears. For a champion known for and designed around regeneration and health, the early game is not that healthy for him, Sam.
Yeah, the AoE camps can be a little bit dicey, right? When you're doing Krugs, when you're doing Raptors, you do take more damage. But in this new season, it's not as risky as it had been before. You can see he hasn't even used his potion charges yet. He did use a smite, but he's going to be fine. Hits level 3, and will likely be looking just for a 6-camp clear here. Mundo, Hecarim are not likely to really be fighting it out in these early stages. Both champions just kind of want to get towards 6, and really can only punish with counter ganks, or if someone is really overextending.
Right now, it's Impact, the one extended past the halfway point, while Deftly and Ignar are doing the same. Both side lanes pushing out for Evil Geniuses. Immortals content to hang back, farm underneath the turrets, while the opposite song is being sang here in the mid lane, with Insanity having control over the 1v1 against Jiizuke on the Orianna, using the power of the Azir, the zoning strength of these soldiers to keep his opponent back and guarantee his dominance in that 1v1. Impact hanging out in the tri-brush up here, recognizes there's not a lot to do just yet, but he will throw out a boomerang here, tempt Revenge and Xerxe towards him. Now they should know that Svenskeren is nearby because they saw the Scryer's Bloom fly up towards them. So this could result into a 2v2. Svenskeren is the target here at the beginning. Xerxe is going in. This is what I was talking about. Mundo is not that tanky early on, but the flash over the wall, Svenskeren stays alive. Xerxe cannot follow because he has Ghost, so Evil Geniuses barely get away from that one. On the other side of the map, we got a 2v2 over the Scuttle Crab here. They wait for it to dash back around, so Raes isn't able to steal it away. Nicely done to guarantee the secure.
Yeah, that is really good to deny the double scuttle there. Just smart stuff from the EG bot lane to move up, but just too bold, honestly, with your positioning there. Impact did a good job to try to zone them away, but the scuttle was still at 1,000 HP. Mundo's not going to insta-kill that thing. He doesn't have any way to actually remove the bonus shield there, except for smiting it, so he was never going to be able to burst that down. And once they see that the collapse is coming, they had to back it up.
And meanwhile, on the bottom side, it's Deftly eating a lot of damage. He's ignited, but the return onto Raes is also extreme. Both AD carries down below 200. Both supports still really healthy, but no cooldowns to use. We've got Heal and Ignite used by Evil Geniuses. Destiny used both summoner spells down here, but Raes still has the heal on the side of Immortals.
Yeah, and that's a critical thing. He has Flash and Heal available here. Xerxe is in the area, so they could potentially look for a fight, but they don't know where Svenskeren is, and EG's posturing fairly aggressively. So we're just going to see Immortals back it up, but you can see Insanity getting very low mid lane as well. Looks like he is being pushed out by Jiizuke, who did TP back and is just trying to shove aggressively here. Will he actually step forward?
Okay, Insanity's down to 100 HP. Jiizuke has him on the ropes for now, but as you already stated, Jiizuke used TP. Jiizuke's back in this lane with an almost empty mana bar, just getting the wave shoved up. As soon as Insanity goes back,
again.
He will be able to return with full mana here again. Xerxe's going in after Jiizuke. Does not want to continue the chase here because Svenskeren is right next to him, but now that Revenge has showed up for backup, they may look to make their move. Jiizuke with a flash away to survive the hook shot, but that's now Jiizuke with neither summoner spell available for use.
So the biggest problem here is Jiizuke, what he was doing is he actually TP'd back early to grab the tier, and then he wanted to use his mana advantage to lock his opponent in lane and deny the base. And that's why he's chasing that far forward, to constantly stop those recalls. But because he wasn't able to do that, and Xerxe was there, Revenge comes down, he now has a bad recall timing and potentially could lose some minions here mid lane off of this. Insanity could either set up a freeze or just try to hard shove this in and deny some minions to the tower, but it looks like he won't be able to fully reset it, so it shouldn't be too bad. And as long as things equalize, you just lose the flash from Jiizuke, and it's not going to be a bigger deal than that.
Okay. About, what is that, 600-700 gold lead here for the side of Evil Geniuses over Immortals. So building up some tidy leads just in farming alone. Down here in bottom lane, you can see it's Deftly and Ignar that have about a 2-wave lead. Up there in top side, Isaac, Impact has twice the farm of Revenge.
Yeah, he is way up on Revenge, was winning that early lane pretty heavily. And then Revenge did also go for that roam, so may have missed a bit of farm there. He will be able to pick up, should be able to pick up pretty much this whole wave, but still will be down a fairly significant amount. And that's the thing. When you play a matchup like Camille and Gnar, you have to play aggressively. And if your jungler is not playing around you, is not up there to actually fight, then you can't really take very many of the all-ins, especially not pre-6. It's got to be to that point. And Impact has created such an advantage now that it may be difficult to find those all-ins even post-6.
Evil Genius is moving in to contest the enemy blue buff. They want to steal this one away. It's Xerxe that gets it. So that will not turn into anything here for the side of EG. No, they don't have to spend any summoner spells on the way out as Immortals was collapsing, but the steal is thwarted.
The only small win that EG gets there is now the blue buff is not an Insanity. So if you can actually get your own blue onto Jiizuke, it will not be blue buff versus blue buff. So Jiizuke could potentially get an advantage there with the shove in mid lane after that. But with the delayed blue buff take, of course, that is not going to be for another minute or so. And Immortals are just going to take that bot side reset and go straight for Dragon, knowing that EG sent their bot lane back to base.
Revenge stepping up, eating some damage from Impact here yet again. Xerxe seizing the opportunity to go after the first Drake of the game. 7 minutes and 45 seconds. Not particularly early, not particularly late. Just about on time here for Immortals and their favorite horse, as that means it's the first neutral objective of the game.
Why is the favorite horse? What about Destiny down in the bot lane?
Did he get a dragon? I don't think so.
I mean,
how many horses on this team have killed dragons? That's the favorite horse. Svenskeren is not the favorite Mundo, and he will not go where he pleases. First blood for Insanity.
Nicely done. Picking up the first blood there. Getting that onto Insanity is huge. And we'll see if they can turn that into anything else. Svenskeren, I just think EG in general has been going for some pretty unwise jungle invades and fights. You know, the top lane scuttle fight when they didn't have mid lane around. Now this invade on Raptors, when your mid laner is backed by his tower, there's no way you can get support from that when Camille is missing from top lane as well. It just feels like Svenskeren is not really playing with respect to where the other players could be on the map.
All right, Evil Geniuses, you lost the first blood, but the game is still tied. So essentially, that death just undid the gold leads that Evil Geniuses had earned for themselves, particularly in the side lanes with farm advantages. Still have ourselves pretty even footing. Svenskeren's back on the map. He will pick up the first Rift Herald of the game here. Plenty of time to use that one. All 4 minutes will still occur before the plating falls. And we've got On My Wave pings coming out here in the top side. They might just look to continue the abuse of Revenge, as he's down to half HP. If Mundo goes up there, they could get some value out of the Rift Herald, but they don't want to go for it. They have no idea where Xerxe is, and they don't want to overcommit and get too hypey on the play.
Yeah, but Revenge, when you're falling behind in these melee versus ranged matchups, the reason these matchups can work into someone like Gnar is you're threatening the all-in. And if you can't do that, you don't have much. You just get poked down, you just get pushed in, and it becomes very, very difficult. Impact faking the base there will stay around, and because Revenge doesn't actually have his teleport, and he based on a non-cannon wave, Impact should be able to fully push this in and take that additional plate, or just go for a quick reset here himself, and that guarantees the wave will be coming back towards him again. So Impact creating these small advantages and has put himself in a pretty darn good position as far as this 1v1 goes.
Yeah, he's feeling great about the state of the top lane right now. Xerxe moving into the enemy jungle, stealing away the chicken camp before Mundo can arrive back on the scene. Mundo level 7 now, not really worried about his HP in the jungle any longer. He has the Bomby's Cinder. He's got his challenging smite ready to go if he runs into Xerxe. So all of a sudden, Mundo's a very scary 1v1 proposition, and Xerxe must be respectful of that, as must anybody who runs into him randomly out there in the jungle.
And they're going to have to be aware of in team fights. You only have one healing debuff right now, and that is the Ignite from Destiny, so you can't get baited by that Mundo and overcommit onto him if you can't fully burst him down. Svenskeren down here, though, but Raes playing fairly far back. We'll see if EG wanted to go for it. It would have to be really a hard commit. You're expecting a Q flash or something like that to try to get a play here, as Raes should be able to buffer that Condemn to interrupt any non-flashed combos coming through from the Alistar.
And you talking about the Grievous Wounds on Mundo is very important, because remember yesterday, it was Evil Geniuses, it was Svenskeren on the Mundo, 100 Thieves, having the Skarner with Closer, going for the pick onto Svenskeren, pulling him in, not finding the kill. With everybody's firepower put together, Mundo walks away, they bait themselves into a bad fight, the rest of the game is just a downhill tumble, and 100 Thieves never recover. Focusing Mundo in an early mid-game fight where you have no business focusing Mundo is a recipe for disaster that sets your own team up to fail. So respecting just how tanky he is, properly managing Grievous Wounds with his healing, it can't be understated how important that is as we move forward, especially considering there's not a lot of items online in general just yet. Nobody's got fully completed Mythics. There's still plenty of time before we're able to look at luxury items like extra Grievous Wounds. So for now, Mundo's feeling all right.
He reigns supreme until someone buys an 800 gold Grievous Wounds item. But for now, he's feeling pretty good. I mean, people, I think, sometimes don't realize how much the ult heals. It's 60% of your total health actually healed at rank 1, and that goes all the way up to 110% at level 16. So it's a pretty insane amount when you realize Mundo can have a couple thousand health. And, even just cutting that down by 40% can be the equivalent of having, hundreds, if not thousands at times, of additional damage.
Okay, let's see if they want to try to steal away the blue buff again. Evil Geniuses, they got some bodies around here. Ignar is set up in the brush in case somebody walks back towards it. This might just be a trap. Insanity's got 60% HP. If he walks back over here and isn't careful about it, thrown up into the air with the damage coming down, throwing out the wall with the Hecarim and soldiers. Svenskeren needs a little bit more damage, but he cannot find it. The man is ignited, and Destiny grabs the kill. I believe Svenskeren killed himself on accident. The health cost of the cleaver brought him down to 1 HP, and the ignite tick kills him.
Who's the favorite horse now, Flowers?
Okay, well, if that's going to happen, now Destiny's the favorite horse.
It's the true battle of this game. Xerxe versus Destiny for a favorite horse.
Well, when they're able to find plays, it works, man.
It does, and Svenskeren does get burst down. I like the attempt here, but Jiizuke needs to be postured more forward, right? Like, you're going for the engage, but it's just a tank Mundo as well as the Alistar here. The ultimate coming through there from Svenskeren. You may be right. The health cost of that cleaver could have been the difference in that situation. Impact, though, looking for the solo kill.
Oh, Revenge barely gets away there. The flash keeps him alive. Impact does not flash after him, but man, Impact continues to own the 1v1 up here.
He is really looking good in this 1v1. There has not been jungle intervention. It's a fair fight up here, and that means it's going to be tough for Camille. Really, you're looking to all in during mini-Gnar, but if you're behind, you need your jungler there to actually be able to do that, right? He can set it up. He can go in with the hook shot, ult up the mini-Gnar, but Hecarim's got to be there to follow, and so far, Xerxe has not been playing around him, so the Camille has not been that effective. But at the very least, he has not gotten killed off. He has defended the turret. He's down some farm, but it's comebackable, right? You can get something done later on. You can scale towards the later stages of the game on this Camille and have that as your fallback plan.
I mean, anything's possible in this game, right? The gold between the two squads is
True.
200 gold apart. There's there's nothing that's doomed.
It's very glass half full, you know? Anything's possible.
Anything is possible for either one of the squads, good or bad. The potential is limitless, my friend.
Mundo could be an astronaut if he wanted. He's just got to work hard and study up.
Well, I don't know if Mundo could be an astronaut.
So you're saying anything isn't possible?
Well, maybe
Which
not
is it?
for Mundo. I mean, okay, how about that? Mundo can be an astronaut, but there's no way he's a qualified astronaut.
I mean, monkeys go to space. Why not Mundo?
Mundo in space? Okay, so we
He
can
goes
just
where he pleases, flowers.
slap Mundo in a spacesuit and send him to the moon. All right, he can go there with the Doge.
Let's
fund.
go.
Let's see how the gold is flowing here in the game, as it's Jiizuke and Insanity that are topping the charts in the current state of play here on Summoner's Rift. Definitely an impact right behind Svenskeren and Xerxe a little bit further down there. And you can see, yeah, obviously it's the supports that are at the very end, but only Svenskeren right above them. So a little bit behind here in the jungle with a 0-2-0 scoreline. Not had the greatest start, but he did secure the first Rift Herald of the game. Should be able to get the second one here, no problem as well.
Yep, looking pretty good for them. Should be able to grab this up. Ignar just delaying the base there from Insanity. Gives them prio over mid lane, but you can see the priority here is on the bottom lane. And I actually like the response from Immortals. They're just going to get solo gold onto the Vayne, allow Vayne to take down this bottom lane turret. Yes, top lane turret will fall, but I actually think even if you don't get first tower here, it's still potentially better for Immortals because all the gold will be concentrated for Raes here. You know, where it becomes more of a question is if you're not going to defend the tier 2, it's not such an even trade.
Play attempt in the mid lane will not work out. Jiizuke is forced to use the flash, but he gets away just fine otherwise. Meanwhile, topside, the tier 2 turret has been demolished thanks to the power of the Rift Herald here yet again, as Deftly continues shoving up here with the Acathian Rain. Will we? Nope. Okay, nice placement there of the auto attack to make sure he hits the eye. Sometimes people miss that by just a slight angle, but Revenge guaranteeing no damage over the tier 3 turret.
Going to be able to deny that charge, but because they got 2 towers, I would say it's EG favored. Still, Vayne getting all that gold for herself, as well as the solo XP down on that bottom side. It's going to be feeling pretty nice. We'll see how much gold she does have when she goes back. As was behind Deftly from that 2v2, but upgraded boots as well as a dagger. So now you really are at that point where you can start to really threaten these frontliners. You can kill them off incredibly quickly as long as you can stay safe. And that is the key thing. You know, making sure that you are in range to auto attack, but not so far forward that you can be easily comboed or shockwave by the Orianna or the Alistar, and that's where you really have to walk that fine line as Vayne. If you can pull it off, the rewards are enormous, but it's so easy to misstep and go a little bit too far forward, tumble into a shockwave, or tumble into range of some sort of CC and just go down.
I mean, there's a reason. Never mind. We can talk about Vayne here in a moment. Jiizuke is getting away, but a shockwave to turn things around. Ignar flashing forward to make the plays here with a pulverize. Insanity will fall, and Jiizuke grabs the kill on that one. Nicely done from Evil Geniuses.
Ignar played that really well, to be honest. You know, headbutting Destiny away, denying any potential of appeal. Then the Q flash comes through. The Ignite as well onto Insanity, locking him up long enough that his soul laners could come through and finish off that kill. This is going to get them another turret here. So now 3 towers to 1. They're not up a tremendous amount of gold, though. And Immortals does have 2 straight dragons, so it's going to likely come down to this next fight. I don't think EG are going to want to allow Immortals to get 3 straight and put themselves at soul point here. So we could be having a big fight brewing up.
Down here in the bottom lane, Raes is down 30 farm on the Vayne. Back up there in mid, Insanity down 25 as Azir. Top lane, it's actually Revenge who's got the closest farm compared to his opponent. Despite how many different times we checked in, and Impact seemed to be running things up there in the top lane, despite the fact that 2 turrets have been lost in that lane. It's Revenge doing the best to stay caught up here with his lane counterpart. Immortals going after the Drake, looking to stack up to 3. Svenskeren is here to contest. Should be a 50-50 at least. Evil Genius is going in. Drake down to 1,800. Ignar tanking up in the front lines. The Drake is secured. Svenskeren is not able to steal it away. Now we've got him tanking up in the front line. Going to be dropped very low. Xerxe grabbing the kill. Immortals taking the fight. Going after the CC and the additional damage off the side here as Revenge buys a little bit of extra time. Insanity with the shuffle back on the Impact.
Comes Raes.
Kills off Revenge. Triple kill over to Raes. Is it going to be a quadra? No, it doesn't even matter. The Emperor takes it. But Immortals get the Bud Light ace and the Drake to boot.
Raes just shredding through them there as the counter engage. Svenskeren stepping forward, trying to steal that dragon away. They're not able to get it. Xerxe nails it. And then you watch here in the Bud Light Ace, follow the Vayne on the side of the fight. Look how much damage he just got down onto Ignar through the ultimate, utilizing the true damage, and then warded out there. Ignar gets stunned against the wall, finished off. Raes goes forward, pairing up with Xerxe to knock down the mid laner as well. Revenge gets killed off on the other side, but in comes the Vayne to defend Insanity from that potential Kaisa kill there. They are going to win huge here. 3 kills on your Vayne. You put yourselves at soul point. And that is so big for Immortals and really setting themselves up well here because you get that potential Mountain Soul shield over on this Vayne, over on the Camille, over on the Hecarim. They can start to play a lot more aggressive in some of these fights, and it's harder to punish, harder to burst down when you have all of the additional shielding that you've got to work through.
Very, very well done fight from Immortals. Puts them in control of this game, feeling good about it. Insanity pushing up here into the top side. Shockwave used just to clear out the minions, make sure that Immortals don't have time to try to set up a play and make something else happen. Xerxe finding everybody from EG, and he wants nothing to do with that party.
Yeah, he's got to retreat, but he's 2 levels up now on Svenskeren. Farming well, has gotten better in the fights over on his side, and you've got to be so worried now as EG about a Baron rush too. Vayne plus Azir will pretty much insta-kill the Baron, and they're even going to force out Svenskeren's ultimate there in retreat. They've got full control of the top side. There's always the risk that if you don't have vision on the Baron as EG, that Baron is even getting 2-manned here potentially.
And for anyone wondering, I believe what happened there in that top side was Raes tumbled forward with the expectation of getting a max range condemn over the wall on Svenskeren into the other wall next to the Grom. He would then be able to pop Final Hour, chase him over, and either force a flash or kill him. So Svenskeren popping the ulti there just as Vayne tumbles forward was him reacting to what could have been if Vayne was 50 units closer and could have condemned him into that wall. I don't think it was a bad ulti. It was a very safe ulti, but it is one that he used, so now he will not have that combat power here for the next 30, 40 seconds or so. Xerxe, again, very far forward, getting caught out by Ignar and Svenskeren together, wants to save the onslaught of shadows, but it cannot be done, so another defensive ulti used.
Yeah, bad E, honestly, from him. I think he could have just walked it out, but he E'd backwards, and then all of a sudden, Svenskeren's on top of you, so you've got to spend the ultimate. Impact, though, trying to create advantages for EG. They have been losing out around these 5v5s, but Impact has maintained the side advantage here, pushing Revenge out again, getting this turret very low. He should be able to potentially knock that one down. And we'll see if he can open up some of the map for EG. You know, if he can create a solo kill or if he can find an advantage, maybe they can get something done.
Ignar
Ooh.
being the one who almost gets jumped on now, but he's pretty okay here on the Alistar. Immortals continuing to just allow Vayne to farm up. Kraken Slayer into Phantom Dancer. So much teamfight damage potential here with these 2 items so far. Raes waiting for the last auto attack there on the cannon to guarantee that he gets the money. And now Insanity still farming up in the side lane. Everybody on Immortals, dude, they know how powerful both of their carries scale. So the more time that's just left for both teams to farm evenly and take this game into the late game stages, I think Immortals is cool with that.
I agree. I think they're sitting in a pretty good position as long as Impact does not continue to just run the side lane. One thing I will say, though, to be a little bit critical, is I have felt at times, you know, Destiny is kind of hit or miss, right? He's very aggressive with these plays, and we want to see him make sure that he's looking for the correct engages, right? You know, if Alistar, you're going for that engage onto Alistar there, it feels like it's pretty high risk, low reward potentially. You know, if there is someone behind him that you've lost sight of, that could get turned around on you. So we need to see him look for these engages. But make sure that you're going for those high-value targets. You want to go for Deftly, you want to go for Jiizuke. Those are the ones that you really have to commit to when you see the opportunities. But other than that, no need to really jump the gun because, as you say, they're scaling well. They're in a comfortable position. You don't need to risk the game on what is a low chance of a pick on someone like an Alistar.
A TP was used here in the mid lane from Jiizuke, setting Evil Geniuses up for a spot to contest for the Drake. Evil Geniuses has 2 down here with the Drake. They're taking this. There's no contest from Immortals because Immortals are going in for the Baron instead. Mundo is the target. Vayne does the damage. Say goodbye to all your health. That's what Vayne does to tanks. Ignar is still burning away, but the man stays alive. Revenge underneath the enemy turret with Impact about to be shot down here with Xerxe getting the last kill with the Rampage. Immortals, 2 kills for nothing. nothing. The Drake was even abandoned by Evil Geniuses. They don't even get that. They are now deciding the best course of action. Send Deftly down over to the Drake. Deny the Soul because Immortals are going there immediately after Baron. They cannot fight for the Baron in the meantime. Huge play coming out from Immortals to get the Red Bull Baron bomb.
Yeah, that is so big. Finding those two isolated members there, yes, it was the tanky members, but everyone was around with them, and they knew the rest of EG wasn't there. Now going to catch out Jiizuke here.
Oh, Jiizuke barely staying alive. Destiny and Xerxe, not quite enough firepower to take him down, but over the wall comes Revenge. The interrupt from Ignar, enough to keep his mid laner alive, but the tier 2 turret in the top lane is looking at a different reality. The wave has collided. Xerxe and Insanity are here and ready to push this one even further, and Immortals are now up to a 5,000 gold lead. This is a perfect example, Azael, of how powerful early Drake stacking can be for you.
Exactly, that's right where I was going to go. You know, we're of the same mind here. The fact that it is Soul Point draws multiple members from EG over towards that dragon. And when you know that they're not grouped up with the rest of the team, that people aren't answering the side lanes, that they are on the dragon, you can go for a hard engage like this. They get that initial kill, they almost burst down Ignar with that true damage from the Vayne, and then as impact comes in, there's not really an angle for him to create a good fight. Jiizuke is not there yet, the Kaisa is not there yet. EG just had too many members over on that dragon trying to deny Soul from their opponents. Lost track of the fact that they could just go for the Baron, that they have the turn to do it. Raes now looking for this 1v1.
Raes is at the point where he's getting hypey on the Vayne. Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3 Z. I say that specifically because the third shot takes off half your health bar. Vayne has scaled.
You got that 3 items now, PD, Kraken Slayer, Rage Blade. You don't really lose a lot of 1v1s at that point if you can get up on your opponent there. Even got the stopwatch, has both the summoners ready to go, and Raes is poised to just dominate the rest of this game. Nothing you can do really as Impact here. Sure, he's got a fair bit of armor there, full Thornmail. He's got the tabbies on top, but Vayne does not care whatsoever. There's not really anyone you can send to answer when you have the Baron buff included as well.
Feels like 6 autos from Vayne, anybody's just dead.
Yep.
You're out of the game. If you somehow manage to survive, you're going back to the fountain immediately. Raes is at a point where as long as this man is properly protected, he will be able to end this game here for Immortals. He does a good job condemning Ignar away, but the protection that I just mentioned is not there thus far. Destiny coming in, looking to stop him, but a nice shutdown coming out from Impact. Into the back line goes Insanity, grabbing a kill on the enemy AD carry now as well. Despite the fact that they shut down the big man with the big plan, it still don't matter because Immortals strike back harder. They get a 2-for-1. They're pushing into the enemy base, and Evil Geniuses has no way to stop them.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult here. They do clear out that mid lane wave. Thankfully, they have pretty good wave clear with the Orianna, so it should just be the one inhibitor. And likely Immortals will have to retreat after that. But they still crack the base there, and they're putting themselves in a position to have even more pressure on the map. You want to play down towards that dragon. You know, normally we talk about the bottom lane inhibitor being the most valuable when Baron is on the map. The same goes for the top lane one when you're talking about going towards Soul. Raes doing a good job getting a lot of damage down here as he retreats, so Insanity can go over the wall, finish off Deftly, who was already incredibly low, and Impact has no choice but to just abandon Svenskeren there and try to survive himself. Immortals, a lot of pressure being put onto EG now, and Impact has no teleport, right? So it should be up for this dragon, but right now you see Impact up on that top side. It gives you carte blanche. Just go into the bottom side with 5 members to be able to know you have an advantageous fight to get vision around that dragon. And that's going to make it difficult for EG to even approach this next dragon here when it comes up in about a minute.
Really, really impressive game here from Immortals, honestly. Yesterday, after Evil Geniuses was able to take down 100 Thieves, playing smart around objectives, punishing them for improper targeting, and then playing safely afterwards, just closing it out, they were looking really good. But Immortals showed up today, and they are just outplaying Evil Geniuses at every turn. The draft has put them in a spot where it feels like the game is almost unlosable now, and they have managed to get to this point safely enough to make it so EG was never pulling ahead. Revenge with a good disengage up here, 0, 1, and 5 on the Camille, just constantly providing providing pressure and threat off to the side. Svenskeren getting engaged on yet again as the damage pours through. Revenge continues leading the charge, thrown up into the air now with a lot of damage coming down. Orianna Shockwave is there. Nice shuffle back onto 2. Insanity buying some time here with the stasis. TP shows up, but it's nothing but a free kill. Impact in the back line going to be answered now with Raes getting away with the final hour. A little bit more damage takes him out, but the onslaught of shadows brings in the counter punch. Immortals still looking to get something done. Never mind, I cast her, curse the hell out of it. Impact's in the back line, tearing everybody else up. Throwing the clock around there, slamming everybody into the ground there. Triple kill over to Deftly. What in the world is going on? Evil Geniuses are right back into the game.
I'll tell you exactly what that was. 2 words, Vayne spotting. Raes rolling over towards the base turret here. He is separated from the rest of the team. They want to go for the engage, but Vayne is not with the squad. They go in on Svenskeren here, but he flashes out. And then just track Raes. You know, he's not a part of this whatsoever. He hasn't yet even auto-attacked in the replay, and then he says, all right, I'm going forward. But Jiizuke is still here. You're walking into tower range through the damage of the Orianna ball with Deftly right beside him. And with Raes getting that separated, the rest of the team is trying to come over here and peel for him, trying to survive, trying to keep that Vayne alive, but they're unable to do so. And as a result of that, they are getting in range of the tower. Impact's winning the 1v1 on the other side of the fight. He takes down the Camille. He's had top lane priority the entire game. Comes up huge in that team fight, getting them a team fight win from what seemed to be an unwinnable position. But you have to question, why did Immortals need to force it? That's what I was talking about earlier, you know, with Destiny, where he has these great engages, and then he has ones where you're kind of just left with your head scratching, and Deftly dominating that fight. Over 6,000 damage is an incredible performance from him right when they needed it. But Immortals should have just played for Soul. There's just no reason to engage there.
I agree, but 6,000 Kaisa damage.
It's a lot.
My goodness, Azael. All right, well, both AD carries now have the ability to just 1v9 in terms of damage as long as they're protected. So not a true 1v9, but a highlight reel 1v9, where you just
1v9 if you've got some other people, but you just won't count them like a normal ADC player, right? You're going to take all the credit.
Exactly. You just slap some wub-wub music on it, put it in a montage, give it a clickbait thumbnail, and you're good to go. But right now, Evil Geniuses, they got bigger worries, because the problem is their opponents are still on Soul Point, they're still down 3,500 gold, and Baron is live on the map. They've lost 1 inhibitor, so they're not completely stuck in their base, but the overall map state will naturally flow against them. There is 1 ward that Immortals did not sweep away from this upper river area, and that will let Evil Geniuses know what's going on. This is a very fast Baron take. It is already down to almost nothing. It will be secured by the side of Immortals. Ignar tries to initiate, but the man is already dead. He's a beef kebab. He's gone. Holy moly, nicely done from Immortals, turning it right back around. Impact wants to go in, but you're not going to be doing anything now. Definitely trying to kite away. Triple kill. Back over to Insanity. The shutdown on the enemy mid laner. The Bud Light ace with the Baron with the teleport into the enemy base. Immortals will take their win off that fight.
Nicely done by Immortals. 1 small misstep in that bottom lane, but the clean ace over by Baron secures them the upset win over EG when they need every single game here. Coming down to the wire on this playoff race, it's a big one.
Immortals getting the dub, 19-7, 32 minutes in. They'll take down Evil Geniuses.
Really nicely played. I think the draft was smart. I think that the Vayne pick really did show a tremendous amount of value here. You can see how happy they are and how quickly that front line evaporated there at the Baron fight. Vayne plus Azir shredding the Baron, shredding the front line, getting themselves that much needed win.
And that very last fight, I felt Ignar's pain physically. He tries to go in and jump on all of them with a big headbutt pulverized to win the post-Baron team fight and wipe off all the Baron buffs. But the Azir ulti comes through, and he just splattered, roadkilled right there in the middle of the river before he's able to do any damage whatsoever. And then everybody on Evil Geniuses afterwards just crumbles. The damage was there that time. Vayne wasn't under proper threat. Everybody was able to turn back against Evil Geniuses with the bonus power of the Baron and just rolled them over.
Yeah, I mean, EG was a little bit disorganized in that fight. They were trying to rush to contest the Baron, hoping that their opponents would still be on it when they arrived so they could set up that proper team fight. But when you do not have everyone together going in at the exact same time, it is so difficult to deal with those fights. If the front line is segregated from the carries as it was in that play, I mean, Vayne makes short work of that front line. It's almost nothing. Vayne and Azir crush frontliners. And when you take into consideration that they were, what, 5-6 levels ahead of Mundo and the support, you just got nothing going on. You're basically a caster minion at that point.
There's no way. Svenskeren had a really unfortunate game here on the Mundo. Constantly caught out and killed. Never really seemed like we got to see that raid boss version of Mundo that can take over a game and become this mobile wall that just forces you back as he moves forward. It didn't happen. The power of Vayne and Azir was enough to just blow him up every single fight. And for Evil Geniuses, they're going to have to watch this VOD back and figure out where it all went wrong, because there were plenty of mistakes that happened for Immortals. Yes, they had that big mistake down there in the bottom lane, that throw, that Vayne spotting that you, as you worded it, that almost looked like it could have been the throw, but then the follow-up fight was correct. Their prioritization of the Baron, recognizing their damage potential to burn it down in time, was good enough to get them to a point where then they were able to push, they were able to win, and they're able to keep the potential of a playoff run alive. It's tricky, it's difficult, but Immortals can still make it. And with that one, we're going to head to another break. So once we're back, the State Farm Analyst Desk is going to break down the win. We'll see you then.